Hey everyone, this is Dr. Corey Glenn with Blue Sky Bio, and I want to tell you in this video about our Super Snap Overdenture housings. These are a really nice solution to a problem that plagues many people that do overdentures, namely that the housings tend to lose their retention very quickly. They're continually having to be changed. They can become unretained. So what Blue Sky Bio did is go back to the drawing board, find a different material and a different design for these that we really feel like has helped the problem tremendously. I've yet to have a single person that I turned on to these that has not switched to them entirely. They're just so much better and they last so much longer. So I'll tell you a little bit about these. So first of all, what the problem is the nylon. So the traditional inserts that are used in, Blue Sky has some of these with the metal housing and the nylon inserts in your traditional zest locators, those type things, is that the nylon is just a very poor material choice for a resilient liner, and it tends to wear out very quickly. It's great in ropes and socks and guitar strings and all these things. We couldn't live without nylon, but it's just not a good choice for a part that's going to be in the mouth full time, that's going to have to go through all of those cycles and getting bent and squished and all of that type thing. So the solution for us was to go back to the drawing board and evaluate some of the different material choices that we could look into. And the one that we came up with is one that's used in cardiac heart valves. Okay, so it's kind of important that those not wear out quickly in a patient's heart. And so we began designing some overdenture attachments out of these, changed the design. We eliminated the metal housing. And so these are a 100% plastic type part, and they have a much thicker wall, so they're going to be very resilient, and they just do not wear out. These things last incredibly long. You still pick them up in the exact same way that you would do the type with traditional metal housing. They still fit on a traditional zest locator, so your normal zest locator is compatible to this. You can transition your locator cases over to these. It also works on all of the Blue Sky Bio overdenture abutments. So here's what we did is we set up a test, and we were trying to measure the retention. So just a straight on benchtop test, and we would push these overdenture housings onto the overdenture abutment, pull it off, measure the retention, and see what the graph showed. And so this test went on for quite a while, and you can see the results in that table in the bottom. Started out with these green snaps at about 4 pounds of retention, and surprisingly, initially the retention goes up. Okay, so it's going through a loss of resilience or a stiffening during that period, and then it takes a little bit of a dip, but it basically stabilized at about the 4 pound mark, and it was just hard to get it to go any further. And we eventually stopped the test because after 250,000 cycles, that's about the equivalent of Granny taking her denture out 10 times a day for roughly 70 years, right? So there's really no point in going beyond that. Now, I'm not telling you that these are going to last a patient's lifetime, not even remotely close to telling you that. Remember, this was a benchtop test, straight on, no angle, no chemicals like you're exposed to in the mouth. But what I am telling you is that these are going to last a lot longer than any type of metal housing with a nylon insert. There's just not even any comparison between them. This is what they look like and where you can purchase them on our website. So you can purchase, this happens to be for our Biomax implant, which is our biggest seller. You could buy an abutment with 3 snaps and the blockout ring for $115. You could also just buy the snaps themselves. So let's say you had an existing locator case that you want to transition over, change out the snaps and use these instead. You can just buy the inserts with 2 of the inserts for 17 bucks, and they're in different retention levels, strong, medium, and light. So they're very affordable. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you, while I'm on the topic of overdentures, about the angled flat snap abutment which we have. Now this is something that fits onto a multi-unit abutment. This is a product unique to Blue Sky Bio. So if you've ever had a patient maybe that went the route of all-on-4 and disto-angled implants, and then they decide they can't afford the fixed restoration, that's a relatively difficult case to now transition to an overdenture. So what this enables us to do is you can screw this angled flat snap onto the top of a multi, and now you can have disto-angulated implants. Your angled multi-unit abutment uprights it, and then you simply screw this onto the top, and now it can be converted into an overdenture. So just wanted to mention that as well. The top on this is the exact same as what would be on our overdenture abutment. It's compatible to the Zest traditional locators. And so here's a clinical case just showing how to do one of these pickups. We've got a couple of overdenture abutments in place. I like to go ahead and put the housings onto the abutment, and then I'll take the denture, which I've usually reamed out a little bit to create some space, but you've got to make sure it's completely passive. So I'll reline this with bite registration paste, seat it down, and what I'm looking for is this. So bite registration sets up in 15 seconds, and I take it out and I'm looking for this. That little area of show through indicates that this is not seating passively, and I need to adjust that. So I'll just repeat that procedure 2 or 3 times till I'm getting it seating 100% passive. You don't want to be exerting any force on these during the pickup. And then you can do the pickup with the material of your choice. You know, Blue Sky Bio sells the Easy Pickup material, which is great. It's like a pink bisacryl. You could also use any type of dental acrylic. They all work. It's just a matter of personal preference of what you want to use. And then for the pickup, you can use rubber dam material. I've seen people use all types of different things. In this case, I used the rubber dam. This is the inserts picked up at the end. I will show you one alternative method. This is just a benchtop demonstration, but it's showing 3 overdenture abutments in place. And one thing that I really like to use for these, and that a few other clinicians have told me about, is Teflon tape. So you can, at the hardware store or any dental supply house, usually get wide Teflon tape, so 3/4 to 1 inch wide, and you can simply lay this over the overdenture abutments. And then you can place on the blockout disc, as you see in the upper right here. Sometimes I'll even do this without a blockout disc. It tends to work great as long as you've got that Teflon on. And then you snap on your overdenture housing and do your pickup, again, being sure that you've verified that it's passive before jumping into this. And so once you do this, the benefit of that Teflon tape coupled with the blockout ring is that there's almost no chance of locking this thing on. You know, locking on an overdenture is usually one of those mistakes you only make once in a career, because it'll make you want to quit dentistry when it happens. It's really a bad deal. So this is the pickup. We've now removed the Teflon tape and the blockout rings, and this is the finished pickup. And you can change these. So many people will say, oh, I don't want to use these. You can't change them out. That's actually incorrect. If you are trying to convert a case that has the existing metal housings over to these, yes, you're going to have to remove that metal housing and do a new pickup. But once you've got these in place, if you ever actually have to change them, which I'm not sure how often you're ever going to have to do that, but if you ever have to change them, it's simply a matter of grabbing the insert out with the tool, popping a new one back in, no new pickup. They all have the same external shape, and it's that little blue arrow is pointing to the bead, which embeds this and retains it in the acrylic. So I really think you ought to give these things a try. Again, I've not had a single person try these that has not switched to them entirely, and I think they're just a solution for something that really is a huge pain in the neck to dentists. So give them a try. Let us know what you think about them.